Hi, and welcome back to the Get to Know podcast. I'm Riley,
And I'm Joe.
and today we are getting to know Miss Grundel. What is your name?
My name is Amanda Grundel.
What do you do here at the school?
I am the principal.
How do you think, being the principal, that you can impact students?
I feel I can impact students by promoting good scholarly behavior and encouraging students to be the best that they can be.
We heard that you had an acting career, and we wanted to know a bit about that.
Sure. So throughout my high school years, I was an actress. I did live in New York. I lived in California. I had an agent, and when I graduated from high school, I did audition for Juilliard. I made it through the first 3 rounds. I did get cut in the final round, but believe it or not, I went for comedy, which is an interesting fact that many people don't know about me. I was in many plays and TV shows and commercials, and I also hold a bachelor's degree in theater.
That's amazing. How did you go from acting to being a principal?
So when I went out to New York City, I stayed a while, and I realized it was a very, very grueling business. I would go on an audition, and the line would be blocks and blocks long, and you're just really out there walking and trying to get auditions, walking into lines, walking into auditions, and it's a very difficult career path.
Yeah.
It's not an easy career path. And so I sat and really reflected after being out there for quite some time and said, I don't know that this is the road I want to go down long term. What else am I very passionate about? I realized I really enjoy working with young people and that I felt I could make a difference in the world of education. So I went to school. I got my English degree and my literacy degree, and then eventually my admin degree. And I'm very happy with my career path.
What were some of the shows that you acted in?
Sure. So I was in the show Providence. I'm not sure, you guys might be a little young for it, but it was a TV show on NBC that aired, and it took place in Providence. And I made several very small appearances on that show, but whenever they were in town filming, I would go and appear in that show. I have a very small scene in A Perfect Storm, the movie, and then I was in a variety of Cardi's commercials.
Wow. So what made you want to become a principal and not something else after your acting career?
So again, I did decide that education was a field that I felt I could really make a difference in. So I started off in the classroom. And then I really became passionate about being a leader and felt I could really work well with students in a leadership capacity, but also work well with teachers. As I had 13 years in the classroom, I said, I really feel I understand what teachers, need to do in the classroom, what students need to do in the classroom, and I feel I'm ready to take on a leadership position. So I started off as a department chair, then I moved up to assistant principal, and then eventually to principal.
Have you been here the entire time?
I have not. I was at Smithfield High School for a number of years, and then I was at Gallagher Middle School for some time, and then I moved to Ponaganset.
So going back to your acting career, did you ever do theater?
I did. I did many shows. One of my favorite shows that I did was Fiddler on the Roof. I was one of the main roles in that show, and it was a wonderful experience. I was able to sing, dance, and act in that show, and it was a wonderful opportunity. In college, I was in a show. The name escapes me, but it was a straight comedy theater show, which was awesome because oftentimes theater is centered around musical theater, but that show was just a really awesome opportunity to just use my comedic skills. So.
And on the comedy, what are some of your special talents?
So I would say a special talent of mine is I am trained in comedy. It's something that probably a lot of students don't know. I think the teachers know, but many of the students probably don't know that. But that would be a talent that I'm proud of. I'm actually trained in comedic acting. So.
So what are some of your favorite parts of your job?
Definitely my interactions with students. I have so many wonderful positive interactions with students each day. I'm so proud when I walk around the building and see the wonderful acts of kindness, the wonderful academic work that I see from our student body. The behaviors of students in this school is just top notch. So I just love interacting with students each and every day here.
Yeah. So what are some difficulties of your job?
I would say there always seems to be a problem to be solved, whether it be big or small. But I do a lot of problem solving throughout the day, and it does get wearing after a while.
Yeah.
And how do you like to relax at the end of the day after your
Yes.
long, stressful day managing a school?
I like to go home and read. I'm an avid reader, and I go home every night and I read.
What's your favorite book?
Ooh, that's a great question. Right now, I am reading a Jodi Picoult book. She's one of my favorite authors. I would say My Sister's Keeper was one of my favorite books. I like her books because there's always sort of a moral dilemma that you think about. So she's probably one of my favorite authors.
Wow. So is there anything else that you would like people to know about you?
Sure. I would like people to know that even though I come across as, no nonsense, I am actually very approachable and a huge advocate for students. And I just want our students to be the best that they can be when they graduate from PHS.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for listening to this week's episode of the Get to Know podcast.